Okay. Hello, y'all. How y'all doing? This is me once again on the Bobby Buck Show podcast, and we got a great lineup for y'all on this show, on this event. It's really an event of what we got cracking, because this is the third Zoom check-in, and what we're doing is bringing people together to collaborate, to speak about what's going on during these times, during coronavirus and COVID-19. And we also want to talk about all type of ways we can help each other cope through all this mess and the madness that we're going through. So, but tonight on this show, I'm gonna let people introduce who they are before we get started. That way you can be acquainted with them, see who you want to vibe with and all that type of stuff. So we're gonna start off first. We're gonna hit with Miss Yvonne. Introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are.
Okay, hello everybody. First, I just want to give thanks to the Most High for keeping us another day. I call me Michelle, that's my middle name. I go by Michelle, and 17-year resident downtown. Been active with LA Can Los Angeles Community Action Network, USEP, United East Coalition East Prevention Project, LAPD, Los Angeles Poverty Department, formerly Skid Row Live. Before that, active as a community advocate activist in Inglewood, 25 years ago. Known Bobby about 10 years, and just trying to do all we can to shine a light, fulfilling purpose, and helping each other move up to the very next level. We're still here, I believe, for that reason. So we just give thanks for an opportunity to share. Hopefully it'll reach and teach somebody and make a positive difference and hopefully motivate people. Look up, we're in the revelation time. So I'm just grateful to be with all the rest of the amazing, talented, gifted people we got on air and listening and watching. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Let my man Ron go.
Yes, my name is Ronald Obie. I go by Ron. I've been a friend of Bobby's for about 25 years. We both lived in Arkansas at one time. We're about 15 miles apart, but we kept close, and we ended up being roommates in Atlanta until Bobby decided to move up here. I've been a resident of Los Angeles for about the last 4 years. I don't belong to any particular groups. I try to stay out of the political and some of the other venues. I try to stay separated from them, but there's some things that I have to have an opinion on and like to speak my mind about.
All right. Shauna, you want to go next?
Hey, my name is Shauna Sterling. I have an organization called the Sterling Family Youth Foundation, and I do a lot of campaigning on bullying. But now with the COVID virus going around, I've also been dabbling into essential oils and eating healthy so we can fight this virus the natural way.
All right. Let Ms. CLPD go.
Hi. Well, I've been knowing Bobby Buck for about, a good 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
I met him being a radio personality of a station before he started Skid Row Entertainment, and been involved with the homeless since I've been a teenager. I am a community activist as of a teenager. I started off at the end of the Black Panthers when they were running away, and so the G's, I'll just say I'm an original G before the gang banging began. With that said, I'm also a UN Global International Hip Hop Ambassador. I also am an Goodwill Ambassador of 5 Points Youth Foundation. And I am the X factors behind many organizations: United Hood Nation, Compton 125 Historical Society, Jobs Create Peace, Universal Hip Hop Museum. I am the entertainment director for the West Coast region. A whole lot of things, as well as me being a pioneer and one of your first female pioneer in hip hop on the West Coast.
Right on. That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right. And then a man right here, the man with the plan and the project. Go ahead now, introduce yourself and the project what you have going on.
Okay, cool. My name is Ahi Sibor. I'm a graduate student at California State University in Northridge. I'm getting my master's in mass communications in about less than a month from now. My thesis I've been working on the last couple of months with Bobby being a proud participant in that whole process was I want to bring light to how technology plays an important role in the homeless community revolved around African Americans. And unfortunately, because of this virus, I had a setback because I wasn't allowed to interview people and go out of my house, and this quarantine kind of put a stop to that. So I kind of renegotiated my contract with my mentors and my people that I have to present the project to, and I transitioned the project to how technology can play an important role in African American communities revolved around this crisis. This pandemic is a really big issue, and I think that the homeless community is a voice that hasn't been heard. I've been doing research, looking myself, major news outlets, and I have not seen a single article talking about how homeless communities are being impacted. There's been numerous articles talking about the unemployment rates in the United States increasing to tremendous rates we've never seen before and throughout history, but we don't take into account the numerous of African Americans in Los Angeles, just in our backyards, that have been affected by this problem for years. And it's important to bring light to the situation due to the fact that it's an ongoing problem, and I think millions of Americans are now experiencing problems that homeless people have for years on end in Los Angeles, and it needs to be spoken about. And I'm trying to be the voice and the advocate kind of for this group of people. And I think that by understanding similar stories, understanding people that work with homeless people that help them and understand their stories and their struggles, it'll bring light to the problems that people are facing now. And I could be a representative, and hopefully my project will be able to shed some light to a large portion of homeless communities in Los Angeles, and can get a conversation started about what is really going on out here and how it can be how we can make an impact with through different type of organizations that we're kind of engaging now and talking about through the different means, because this pandemic has been a curse, but at the same time it's a blessing, because it's allowed us to be on the same Zoom call right now, and it's allowed us to have a very in-depth conversation about serious problems. And it has to start somewhere. If it starts here, this is a beautiful thing that could happen.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have all of y'all here on this Zoom here tonight, because like this is my third Zoom check-in, and like I keep telling people, I try to keep putting it out there. To me, whether coronavirus is man-made or random, right now it's setting up its own revolution/evolution. To me, that is how I look at it. That's how I view it. And like I say, the glass is either half empty or half full. So right now, the people who are on the same level are half full. It's time for us to go ahead and ride it on out.
Yeah.
And pull each other up and keep each other afloat. There's one thing they say about the youth. They say it takes a village to raise a child, one child. But it also takes a village to help keep the adults afloat while we're doing so.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I want to keep doing these Zoom check-ins, so we can start just bringing each other in, and we can all work with each other's strengths. Because, like how we do with the mentality that we have in our community, sometimes we too busy picking on each other's weaknesses. That's a waste of time when we can be working together to build each other up and work with our strengths and just keep on pushing. So
100%. I totally agree with you. We talked a little bit last week about it. It's kind of like a trickle-down effect, and these conversations will be leading to numerous people seeing this and having conversations about it within their own communities and within their own households. And they can have a conversation to start with maybe six or seven individuals like right now, but this could relate to hundreds and hundreds of people that could be talking about the conversations and the importance of talking about these topics. And especially because from research of what I've done, no one's doing it. And if it has to start here, then this is the best place to start, to be honest, because it seems like everyone here is very credible in what they do, and their resumes for what they help in their communities is tremendous. It's honestly an amazing thing of what everyone here is doing, and I think it's shout out to Bobby for this, because he's the one that really facilitated this and put us all together. So I think it's a great thing.
Can I say something?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, really quickly, I just feel like, even though I know where we are in Revelation, very quickly, so the sister can speak. Even if this is man-made, which I feel it is, but the plagues revisit at the end of every cleanse. So we're in a cleanse. So plagues revisit this planet whenever a man has started having unclean sex, whenever sanitation has come in at all-time low. So this is the resetting of the planet. Happens every few hundred or thousands of millions of years. So even if this is a man-made epidemic, God will still use it. So in the physical sense, it's a survival of the fittest, natural selective process for who's going to actually move into this 21st century, which will be like heaven on earth. But it's all been prophesied 2,000 to 4,000 years ago, even for those that don't believe in the Most High or the Bible. Even scientists recognize, the Bible code because it's perfect. So we can just use this as an opportunity for those of us to know the prophecy, share what we know, come together. What's going to happen is going to happen. Okay, the wars, rumors of wars, of pestilence, earthquakes. This is to make people realize who's in control. Okay, man can only create or try to recreate or clone and engineer disease and shooting, seeding the clouds to make it rain and, setting off bombs on the earthquake, on the earth's tectonic plates to create quakes. This is another reason God is angry. Man is trying to usurp and go beyond God's power and go beyond man's boundaries as human. So since we know where we are and we're coming together in that like mind, I'm just, again, grateful to be here so that we can navigate through this beginning of the woes and tribulation again. And just like you said, everyone bringing their gifts, their talents, their experience to this round table. So we got to make it through this, God willing. So I appreciate the opportunity again.
Yes, there is no wrong answer here because of the mindset that we're on the mission on. It is biologically made, meaning if you keep on messing with Mother Earth, eventually she's going to bite back. That happens to be a part of it, as well as what has been predicted throughout our history of time from the very beginning. If you read throughout the books, you will find famine and earthquakes and diseases and things like that because of man destroying man. And karma is definitely extremely real. To go out and do evil work, and for that sociopathic mindset of doing evil work, they don't realize it reciprocates and comes back to them. Once it comes back to them, they realize they need to make change. Here we are now in 2020. We've had, right here in California, we've had 4 earthquakes in 3 days straight in a row. We've had rain and hot weather within a day apart. We have, in other parts of the country, things happening that they don't report, like the locusts that's going on in Africa. The point of it is, and then the young man, I totally commend you, and you are God-driven while you have the passion to do this. Is one thing that people don't realize, we're all on the homeless level. The only difference is that we happen to be in our own households for now. When you start receiving stimulus checks, welfare, food stamps, all of these type of things that they are giving us, you are on the same level as a homeless person. And if you don't get it together within the time frame they're giving you to catch up on all your electricity and the whole bit, we're literally going to be out in these streets.
Yep.
And that's the reality that I want to bring to people, that we do all have to come together. We do need to take care of each other. We do need to be concerned about our neighbors and the people around us and how we treat each other. Because on the spiritual path, just like you on that path as well, if we're not on this mission, then we are headed for the next time it will be complete destruction. This should have been a wake-up call for everybody. That as long as we've been living on this earth, or as long as I have been living on this earth, I've never, ever, ever seen the whole world infected.
I agree.
Right.
The whole world. If that don't wake everybody up, then it's definitely something wrong with this picture. So yes, have man made something, of course. And with that, out of that, generically and biochemically, by me being a global UN ambassador, and I talk to doctors from around the world and chemists from around the world and so forth. This is a part of it. This is a part of it, as well as how we treat each other. All this hate we had in the last 4 years. All this turning against the green programs that Obama had placed that got reversed. All this plastic, if you look at Plastic World on Netflix, that's sitting over there in other parts of the seas that they call now Plastic World. The fact that we no longer have a North or South Pole anymore, all that water has melted, and you wonder why we're having perfect storms. And as a people, or globally or worldly, if we don't get on the path to correct science, because it is science along with spiritual, then you might as well say forget it. We all can write our lives off and say forget it for the next episode that's getting ready to happen. And this is a time where we should stop that episode from happening.
Right. I feel you on that.
I agree.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I wanted to say this. You know, it's been proven throughout history that mankind has dominated one another, and not in a good way. And they have also caused all kinds of inhumane suffering. We've gone through our history. You see where one person thinks that he has the answer, he can control everything, and usually it becomes totalitarian. The government becomes totalitarian. People suffer behind it, and a lot of it has to do, of course, with ruining the earth with regard to the environment, the diseases that we have. I just heard on the news today that the current president, I'm not going to mention the name, but anyway, he claims that he has the total right to decide when this pandemic is going to be over.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this guy is placing himself in the position of being God. He decides who can live, who can die, and things like that. But that's just part of the human nature for human governments. They've all have thought that they were better than everyone else, and we've seen throughout history that it has come back to bite them in the butt.
Yeah, well, he's a sociopath, and narcissism has a lot to do with it, as well as greed. And as long
Yeah.
as we have greed and it's about the money, I'm just going to keep it real. If it's about the money, then you would do everything for the money. And especially if they're in that position of power, they control the money. The whole point of the stock market being broke is because the investments of what he has, his money is in, along with his group of evil people. Why is it all of a sudden now that they got, isn't it odd? Immediately we have test kits. They have a drug that they're testing out on us as we speak. And isn't it odd in this time for something that has been just brought up that they have enough time to bring this into existence? So the money is in the medical field because people are more healthy and getting into our natural roots and remedies and the whole 9 yards. The other thing is the money is also into The technology, the 5G, that has a lot to do with that radiation that is so powerful that it's releasing this virus. There's many studies behind it since the 911 situation. And they're coming from the CDC and government agencies that have videos out there of them talking about it back then. The other thing is that China was outdoing us as an economy, so why not blame it on China?
That's
So we
true.
no longer do business with them.
That's true.
So because yeah, Alibaba is king. You know, everybody was able to have their own T-shirts, tennis shoes, whatever that they want to sell. So they were doing great. They were outbeating the United States. So what is the best way to break down the economy? But oh, lo and behold, they put something out there again, cannot control, because Mother Earth, or what they've been doing, digging into her and trying to, you know, sap out every oil, mineral, and everything else to it. What else is for her to do? She provides us the food, the oxygen, and the water. 3 key things that we need to survive here. And we mess over that. And you wonder why nobody can't survive some type of, what they say, alien, monster. All the names I heard the president say, unforeseen. That's out here. This is a vote of the earth fighting back on top of what they have done. But as who we are as spiritual human beings, the wake-up call should for us to come back to our indigenous ways, to be kind to each other, to love each other, to help each other, to build a community, to help the homeless. Mental health is definitely key because we've been so programmed, we've been so damaged, we've been so hurt, used and abused. So that's where all the beginning is. Once we, especially for, you know, African American people, we have 500 years of post-traumatic slave disorder, to the point that we hate each other. We can't even do business with each other.
Totally agree. We can't.
That's right. So, you know, I'm just bringing some things in light to know who you are. Like I commend the young man. You don't know why, trust me, you have been chosen. And bring on the path for you to do what you plan out to do. Because God will protect you. Or I say the creator, you know, for those. I'm not a religious person, because if you want to look at religion, look at all the organizations. Are they standing up by us when something happens? Do they come out here and protest with us? Do they stand for us? No, because the government pays them. That's why they don't support us. They support you giving tithes. Now, some of these ministers have woken up, because tithes is the same thing as paying taxes. If you pay your tithes and you go in there to pray for you to have a job, a roof over your head, and all that kind of stuff, and the church keeps getting richer, and you look around your neighborhood and you don't see nothing they have put back into it, something is wrong with that picture. That is your spiritual right or religious right for them to do that. You're trusting someone to give you the word. The word doesn't have to be in the building. And I challenge everybody, where was Jesus? Jesus was in the community. He was with the people.
He was walking among
He
them.
tore up two churches throughout the Bible, because they knew better, they knew the truth, and they were misguiding, as they said, a devil appearing as an angel of light. And just like that they was doing then, we're being done like that now. We've been so programmed through our public school system and things that you see in front of your face by television.
It's the media.
Well, you know, I'd like to
Get together. Yeah, the media, that and the media who controls the media definitely is putting false information. And I give Trump that. When he said fake news, he's telling you the truth about that. I'm just keeping real. The beauty and the curse of the internet is that you can't go and seek the truth. But at the same breath, we got a lot of people faking it and shaking it. So you have to be you got to be guided by the spirit you're in, and in association of other spiritual lights that are out here doing for the people. And that's, I preach this all the time. Don't support nothing that don't support you. You have the right in your own community not to have stores that don't provide. That's the reason why we're coming down hard on those who want to hype up their food and stuff, because they know this is a time when you really need it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have that type of vendor in your neighborhood, because they don't care about you at a time where, again, food, shelter, and water is survival. Period. We can't live without food, and we definitely can't survive without water.
Yeah.
Can I say something about that? I'm so glad you mentioned that. This is a time we have to be spirit-led, and a time we have to breathe. Sometimes, you might just have to breathe in the future, because they're probably going to cut off the food, the medications, necessities. I don't think there's be a return to business as usual, because the prophecy that I understand, I don't know all of it, but that what I prayed. I don't watch television at all. I haven't watched television for 16 years. I don't have a computer. All I do is talk to people and, try to, get on, I do use Facebook. But I do know, okay, those antichrists you're speaking about, there are many of them. They're just, again, they're just fulfilling the prophecy. So we have the prophecy about the four horsemen. Even if you go back to the Upanishads in India, okay, some like Nostradamus, some meditate. It's the time to be spirit-led, and that's not religion, that's spiritual. So the religions exist for those that don't have the clarity of hearing from the Most High. But there's the meditation, fast, prayer. Now we all have to seek His face, because this is a time when all are going to bow before the throne, even if you don't believe it. Okay.
I totally agree.
This plans, everybody's going to be like, oh my God. And that's the way God has designed it. The Most High, the Creator, Most High, Heavenly Father, God Almighty, whatever you call the Creator, Most High, higher power. So that being said, I just wanted to reveal, for those who don't know, the black horse brings judgment, the red horse brings war, the pale horse brings pestilence and disease and death.
We're having that right now.
Is Christ, or it's the energy that is, it's the God energy that is healing, resetting, and it's cleansing the earth. Again, this happens every few million years. So this is just one page in a billion-year-old. I don't know how many years this planet is, but this is just one page in that. So, we just, have to come together. We have the prophecy. I agree with you. You're the first person that said that about China besides myself, because I have been incriminated by America. The first thing America does when they can't invade, like Iraq, Iran, Syria, Afghanistan, which they invaded outright to get to the oil and to get to the drug trade, they can't touch China, but they can destroy the image. We don't know where this disease began, whether it was even in China, because I don't believe anything that the media spreads, because I have been so lied on and incriminated by people that perceive me a threat for whatever reason. But what I'm saying is, it's all propagandized, and it's all drama, and it's just used to create a certain image, either for a candidate, for a country, or against it. So I don't believe anything that I will see on the news. That's ridiculous.
Right.
I see it. Clones exist. So these days, in this end time, I don't believe much of what I see. I just have to go and pray and meditate, and I know that there's nothing hidden that will not be revealed. So that being set up over. No, I'm serious. This is a very dubious time, because the enemy, the liar, the unreality, whatever your word is for, I just believe that only God, only good exists. I'm trying to stay in that focus, so that whatever, I know what's already going to come to pass. So be ready. Okay, you don't have to believe it.
Well, you have to understand, today is the super moon, and the
earth and then the fire. So if you just keep your soul right, I have peace. I just, only God knows. I'm just under the mercy. Just have peace, fulfill purpose. It says, my people are fearfully and wonderfully made. They will no longer be ashamed. So we just make peace and fulfill purpose. And I'm not wearing those masks. Okay? They'll probably start fining people as they move into this new world order. Okay, in the presidential election, they're probably going to start introducing some type of legislation for unification. Okay, let's unify so we can, so they can survive on a global level. That's the beginning. Okay, of a global economy, main rise of the Antichrist. It's already been practiced.
New World Order.
Can I
New World Order is already
can I
happening.
have something to say?
He might not say
Hi.
or what.
Okay, Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle, I got Chris Sykes. He pulled up. Go ahead and chop it up, Chris.
How y'all doing?
Chris.
Right now, you must understand. We must understand that COVID-19 or the family virus that come from COVID-19. This is nothing new. This has been around for the last almost 20 years. What's going on now is that in order for the New World Government, New World Order to come into place, all the governments of the world must go broke. That's number one. All the world must go broke. Number two is that in the midst of this pandemic, they actually changed our monetary system right before our very eyes. It's because what the stimulus payment was, was called the central bank digital dollar that came into play. But because the Democrats at the time said that, hey, we can't spring that on American people just like that. We have to slowly, gradually introduce this into their system. So basically, they have already the marks in place for number one, a one world government, number two, a cashless society. So in order to do that, it has to be a crisis that has to come upon. And so Bill Gates said this in 2015. He said, no longer will we have to worry about a military battle where people are getting killed slowly. He said, but we would have to worry about a biological chemical warfare that's about to hit the world stage in 2015. And so he was urging people is to get ready for this to come, but our government and the governments around the world did nothing. They informed Trump of what was going on, and in the midst of all this, Bill Gates now come up with the 2020 vaccination thing, where he wants all people in the world everywhere to be vaccinated. And in that vaccination comes a microchip that's all of our information already there, the marker, what we call the marker to be. So we are here, we are at the beginning stages of this. And this is just what y'all see here. This is not even the beginning. This is just something that's just happening. It's gonna get a lot worse than this. So as people, we gotta learn to band together, work together, and get our houses in order, not only spiritually, but physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially, because this thing is gonna go big time.
Yeah, Switzerland was doing
within 10 years, they're gonna introduce a microchip, and then next thing, the only thing that we're waiting for to happen is the one world religion. So it's here.
Switzerland was already chipping. They were already injecting the chip in their hands and in their head. You guys can Google this. He's telling you the truth about this. You can even Google about, I'm gonna have to send that to you, Bobby, about Bill Gates. This started around in '85 when this experiment started happening as far as the virus is concerned.
Correct.
But it's here now. Instead of us, we need to band together and we need to start coming up with some solutions, because we're good for talking about what we think or where we think it came from, whether it's man-made or machine-made. It's here.
Yes,
and I can say that because it affects me. I have lupus, and they took my lupus medicine, so-called, so they can use it to see if it can fight the virus. Therefore, people with lupus can't get Plaquenil, or they're having a hard time getting Plaquenil because of this virus. So it's hitting us a lot of ways. I have lupus. I went without my medicine because I couldn't get it. The people couldn't manufacture it fast enough.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
that's the truth, because I have somebody who also have lupus, and they diagnosed him with the Crohn, and finally gave him, he was basically almost dying. They wouldn't even come get him. They told him he would have to have a gunshot wound or a heart attack for the hospital to come and get him. And it just so happened he had collapsed, and that's how he ended up in the hospital for 3 days, and to give him his medication.
Wow.
You know, for those, do you know the history of lupus? More African American people have lupus. That was something that was also designed. They're ethnically targetable proteogenics engineered to infect certain people. The ethnically targetable diseases I've known about, because I knew a man that defected from the American military who was working on this. So lupus is a man-made disease affecting more African American people. It's a toxic, it's a disease that is, that's when there's a toxicity, usually too many medications, chemicals in the bloodstream. So see, I don't take any medication. I don't believe in
either.
it for like almost like 40 years, probably about 35, 36 years. So, and I don't believe I'm sick. I don't believe it. Right. So as a man or woman thinking, it just doesn't exist for me. So, right. Because I try to keep myself in the secret place of the most. If you believe you're sick, you're going to get sick.
Exactly. I'm a cancer survivor, and I have not taken any medication since I survived having cancer.
Hallelujah.
So, and I know for a fact.
Don't get me wrong. I live with this every day.
Right.
I don't claim it. I was off medication for 3 years until I went through something that was very, very stressful. Lupus is an autoimmune disease where your body attacks your body. So if I catch a cold, I have to be careful. I stay off of that medicine because the medicine that they have me on, the side effect is blindness. And Lord knows I don't want to be blind. But to get it under control, sometimes you do have to go on their meds. I can go on the meds and I know how to take myself off of it. At this time and place, I'm homeless. I'm stressed out. I have to take that medication.
And stress has been the number one killer, the breakdown in the immune system anyway, because it's mental. That's why stress is the number one killer, and alcohol and tobacco are the other two. Those are the top number ones of it happening. And you're totally right. Don't get me wrong. You know, as being a cancer, the time that I came in, I was in the 4th stage anyway. I had to take chemo, but after the chemo, I went to holistic health, and I've not turned back ever since. And along with my mental and not being stressed and doing things to relieve that stress and stuff, I'm fine. When I do become very stressful, I do know that my white cells become low, and it lets me know that, hey, I need to meditate, get myself back on focus, and to go forward. And I definitely take in the herbal substance to make that change, as well as detox and doing a fast, because it is reversible. The body heals itself, but we allow for them to think that these things that they give us, which may do temporarily for one side, is damaging the other side. And by my studying and being in the radio world as an interviewer and interviewing doctors and stuff like that, you best believe me. I'm just saying that I'd rather for you to go to a holistic doctor and go through that process than to be on these medications, because they're designed to just hold you and for them to milk money off of you, and for you to go through this life of hell, basically, of your illness back and forth. So, and this is why they're doing what they're doing, because again, we got on the healthy kick. People are living longer.
We have to go
we're
back.
eating right. You're
We have
eating
to
right.
go to places.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what better way to create fear? Because fear is our biggest culprit for us to ask for these things. The same thing would happen to the 911 situation. You guys should check out the film called Loose Change, because it was designed for us to create fear for the military, National Guards to take over us. We said, yes, please, please, please protect us, protect us, protect us. You know, so that gave them the control now to do what they do, to call the National Guards on us and the whole bit. So fear is our biggest culprit for them to put us in. We're already in the new order, because Bush said that at the time of his inaugural. He said, "Welcome to the new world order."
Yeah.
Go back over that and check that out when he was inaugurated. That's the first
Can
thing
I
came out of his mouth.
Yeah, I agree.
can I say something real quick?
Go back to
Yes,
Um,
basics.
sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
oh, my bad. Sorry. It's so
No.
hard to do it on Zoom, but I like the fact that we're talking about actual problems that we're all facing in today's time, because even though if you're facing it directly, I feel like a handful of us also have a similar situation or similar thing we can all relate to each problem. And kind of just going back to my project a little bit, I liked how we're talking about the problems, but I would love to hear some possible solutions coming from you guys and what your opinions on, and have a conversation about these possible solutions, and maybe your opinions can change or not just change, or maybe just evolve in a way, or maybe we can start putting some real details to things. We can actually start putting some real groundwork and actually having some change when it comes to a situation like this.
On the
No, I
answer.
was going to answer the young man's question about
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll give them a solution. Yeah.
Solution, we do have to come back to our indigenous ways in the community. So part of that would be vacant lands to grow vegetables and fruit. The other thing is creating a surplus for our schools, and having instead of a food bank that we have to go way out to, we should have food banks in all our community. They have surplus. And then we need to learn how to recycle, meaning our clothing, shoes. Some of us have more than enough that they can get rid of. You know, being a hoarder, or realizing you have things sitting around, that can also be the things that store up, where we can clothe those who don't have. And the reason why I say these type of things, because of my involvement with the homeless. And on the sidebar, because I know my phone will be going out in probably about the next 5 or 10 minutes, because I need to recharge it. Please
Okay.
forgive me. I would really like to connect with you, young man, and welcome into our world of the beautiful things that we do as far as the global ambassadors are concerned.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I would love to. I'll probably get information from Bobby, because I know your phone. But I would love to reach out to you, and we can have a chat, just me and you, and just to get the process going on that. Because, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You'll see all the amazing things that we do with the 5 Points Youth Foundation. Bobby Buck is also a part of that with us. A couple of the other people that might be on the phone, but I think when we have more young people like you, it could be massive. You know, there's so much that the elders can do. I am a senior, but we need the youth to have. They have the energy, and they have. You're at this age where you want to save the world, so to speak. And
Yeah.
I was like you at your age or younger. And that makes it even more powerful when you blend these 3 generations, whether it's the elders, the seniors, and you, and those younger than you, to get on this trip, this power right here. We can have it in every community, and we can have it at every school, because there's kids that are going to school that are not getting the food, or you know, they're homeless and living in cars or whatever the case may be, don't have the clothes. You know, there's college students, and I know you know, that are going to hungry. How can you, you know, because the rent is so high. You got to make a choice whether I'm going to have a place to stay or whether I'm going to eat good every day. And so they're not eating healthy on top of that. So
Yeah.
these are the solutions that I think on top of giving mental health, not giving you drugs to cure your mental health,
Say that one
but
again.
really, but because that's why they're so crazy out here. It's the drugs they got them on, and then they take them off of, and you wonder why they whacked out. So we need counselors. We don't need somebody to diagnose you with a pill to make you be straight. And I would say that's what we need in our community more so than to find them where you have to go way out to a county facility. So those are
I
the
completely
solutions.
agree with you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you nailed it spot on, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people with that work within the community know about, but there is no message out to the public, and people don't understand what is really happening inside these communities, and it's kind of like a hush hush kind of thing, and they don't actually acknowledge the real problems and the real solutions, because if you really want to get the proper help, you have to go through your primary physician, then go to a specialty, go through your insurance, and then they'll provide the correct procedures to get you healthy. But when it comes to a community where they suffer from a lot of mental illness and a lot of substance abuse that is already portrayed from just doctors in the United States, they want to solve the solution in a one-time visit, and that's just to put somebody on maybe not the right medication, but a medication. Just because you're on a medication doesn't mean that you're on the right medication for that individual.
That's true too. It doesn't work for everybody. And that's why they test out, they tried, whatever pharmaceutical say they want to try this on you. Yeah, I want you to try this and see if it works. So, you're being a test tube. You're just being a test tube, which is true. And then the other thing that I feel in our educational system, I think that in the early stages of elementary, need to learn about relationships. How do we get along with each other? How to deal with emotions.
Yep.
Because that will curb down the bullyism. The only reason why my background as a behavior specialist for 20 years. So, and I worked with juvenile court severe emotionally disturbed. That's where the programs were until they cut them out when the Rodney King riots happened. These type of programs need to come back. How do we know how to deal with each other when we don't agree with each other? These things need to be taught in the early stages, and we can be better forced as adults once we become adults or young adults to learn how to handle issues, as well as the respect of who we live next to, who's underneath us, how we go into the store, the whole 9 yards. We have to go back to those type of things, those type of basics, because the basic ethics are missing.
Right.
It's always been about your life of being the bling bling. I'm the best. I'm the first, which you're not, because history has been removed from you guys, and you don't know your history. And so these type of things need to come back, as well as the basics: how to sew, how to wash and clean, cook, the whole 9 yards. Those things that you're talking to someone that grew up, that used to be in our school system.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
And when Proposition 13 came into play, they removed all of that, including the arts.
Yep.
Now arts is very important. See, because it's the creative side of us, and that's where they're making their biggest money of. So we need to go back to that.
And about Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch was designed not only to destroy any preservation, do for self. It stripped us, it killed, it murdered, it destroyed the spirit. So since we know that, and now we're past Jubilee, so we've been set free from bondage here in Babylon, right? So now what we have to do now is, okay, we know what they did. So now what we have to do is moving forward, okay, for those of us that are still here on this earth plane right now, as someone that has a background in veganism, of course, I'm Japanese shiatsu masseuse, and I've been doing yoga for over 44 years. I don't take medication at all. I haven't for over 20 something years, and I never
Yeah.
will. So what we
Right.
can't do is, no, I never will, because the medication in this country is designed to treat the symptoms. It's designed to make the body toxic. This Western system is designed to treat symptoms. It's never designed to heal the organism, because this is a based system. So when you want to heal, it's diametrically opposed to take psych meds or any medication prescribed, because it weakens the immune system, and it actually causes vitamin and mineral deficiencies, and it will create an environment where lupus or any poisoning or disease of the blood can occur. So for healing of the organism, they will call you a terrorist. I've been labeled a terrorist over 30 years, not just because of political.
Well, congratulate yourself. Consider it a compliment, because I've been on the FBI list for 40 years.
Changing the diet, cleansing the blood. And again, I'm just make this short, from experience, when I was a strict vegan, I was getting younger and younger and younger. I was doing Christ-centered yoga, okay? And God, I had my awakening, okay? I didn't touch nothing, it was just raw.
How are we supposed to get those type of things into our kids, into our homes?
Yeah.
How are we supposed to get those kind of things into our homes that's going to help us rebuild?
Counseling.
Right. Yeah, that's what I get to say.
I'll ask you a question.
Yeah. Hold on, Michelle. We're going to get
Yeah,
back.
I'd like to answer that question.
Yeah.
Right now, again, the beauty of the internet is that we're creating classes. And those classes would be a donation of $1, because again, it's not about the money. It should be the philanthropy of giving back, and it will bless you. So if you have educators now, like Michelle Farrell, she's on the line, and teachers and trainers and people who teach yoga and the whole bit, it is accessible to you to have that, to do that in your own home. So, and free. And if not free, give a tip, give $1, support that person. Because when we support each other, we create generational wealth. As long as we have the powerful that has the greed, they control everything. And we will constantly be in debt. We will constantly be ordered to do and forced to do because of it.
Right.
So it's a good thing that the economy, that they will break the system. Because now if people wake up, we need to do business with each other. That goes back to our indigenous ways once again. Somebody knew how to make baskets and the other person knew how to grow potatoes, or whatever the case may be. We did trade and barter.
Right.
Yeah, the barter.
Yeah. So I appreciate each and every one on this phone. Stay safe and stay blessed. My phone is going to go off, and I didn't want to be rude, and it's going to be charged. So.
All right. Yeah.
And young man, please get in touch. I really would love for you to come up underneath my camp. You are who we look for.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna make it happen. Everybody on this call, we're gonna get connected through a group.
Yes.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank
you all.
All right.
Amen.
Right on.
Nice.
So, all right. So, somebody else come in. So, I know since Miss Donna work is on her, she's a solution-oriented type person. But hey, what's your solutions for the young man?
Absolutely. I definitely agree on consultation, education. Not that I'm trying to rhyme, but I do that all the time. Yes, we need to bring back humor too. People forget about humor. It's healthy for the soul. Humor deals with wit. It deals with your growth mindset that we have to have in a world in which we live in right now. Many people are stagnated, and we have to do more things, just like we shared before this situation. You want to be an asset versus a liability to a community. So with this happening right now, like Sophie D was saying, we have to band together. We have to do more things that are going to cultivate each community. So we start paying people and helping people with their yards and so forth. So we actually have to measure in different communities, like, oh, okay, from this circumference to this circumference and so forth. Here, if we have this many backyards that's filled with greens and tomatoes and garlic and all these different things, then we can place markers and so forth. It almost become like the Underground Railroad, and people know, okay, in this community, you can go over here for food if it gets to that point. In the meantime, we've been cultivating, and we've been helping people with cultivating, whether it's paying for the fertilizer or whatever. So now we have a community system that is almost like hidden, but at the same time, people know, okay, well, he's growing something, or they're growing the squash over there and so forth. So all these different things that seem like minute, they're huge. They're huge.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, from the basic needs, all right, what about the children? The children are the future. So just like they keep saying that the elderly are the ones that are more susceptible to anything. And that's been before this pandemic as well. Again, so if they haven't been taking care of themselves, what would be the difference now? Right?
Yeah,
So we have to start informing people now that, and that's still the children. Like they say, the children are the future. We do have to start cultivating them. They are the prime crop right now. And the gentleman that's here, that's doing a project, at the same time, there's so many people that want to save the world. There's so many people that want to do great things in the world, but how do you get the message out, like he said? So as more people in these different facets, like we all should be, even if we all just simply share this show, Bobby, 10 groups on Facebook, 10 different groups, and then you multiply that. Now we start talking about analytics and a number that we can value. On this day, Bobby, I shared it to this group, and so forth, and they had this amount of members that day. So if I share it again a week later, and then I see that they have more people in their group at this time, then it's the propensity that more people are going to share this information. But if we stay stagnated in where we only say, oh, okay, it was how many people on the show today? Nice show, Bobby. I love the way you put your show together, which is all true. But then this is as far as it goes.
Right.
But how rich a show this is already. So it's got to be a master plan behind every radio show, every TV channel, anything and everything that has a podcast such as this, as rich as it is. We have to have a master plan in order to roll it out, so that way it doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
Hey, I like that.
So I can keep going and going because, yes, I am so solution oriented. Just to sum it up really quick, yes, I would say the basic needs, and we pay attention to basic needs, and we do put numbers with it because numbers and science does talk. We talk, and people say, you know, talk is cheap, but it's not, because we have a lot of motivational speakers making a lot of money. We have teachers, we get paid. Anyway, so it is a truth to the matter. So we focus on the basic needs, map it out in each community. We actually roll out a master plan for social media. Then we can get the message out like the young man would like to do.
Yeah. Hey, I like that.
But if I know one thing, if you have the Holy Ghost, if you have plead the blood, the enemy can't touch you under grace and mercy. That's all I know, because I'm not worthy of it. But I plead the blood and try to get up early, get up before, okay, pray and fast, keep using your gifts. Still here, I can still walk, I still know most of my name. Yeah, so, but you all know what time it is. So, Bobby, you know, but there's some just gonna be blessed. You know, it's gonna be when some just gonna be blessed, like Zion is gonna be set free, and then some going to go into captivity that didn't receive the word. So that's, you know, all I know. But we just hope that just Lord's grace and mercy, and like I said, y'all are wonderfully productive, and y'all using your gifts. You know, it's a fight. It's a fight. But again, I just appreciate you see wonderful examples of what God intends us to do. You know, take something that might have been painful, make it into a positive. You know, I know.
Right on. And like we say, we supposed to get you going.
God bless you.
Right on. So, all
God
right.
bless
Now, yeah. So now I gotta so-called this in now. Whew. Yeah. And this go. Yeah.
Deep.
Yeah. I mean, it took me 10 years, but wow. Dog, you something else.
Now listen to that crazy woman.
And it's on video. That's what I'm saying. We go work something out. Yeah, this is valuable. This is valuable. I mean, wow. I don't know.
Y'all can read the book and then y'all can think whatever you want. I said, Lord, I tried, honey. I tried.
But now we're gonna help you with the book and everything. I mean, no, you don't know yet. No, we're gonna get you going.
Okay.
Yeah.
God both appreciate. And you had such wonderful information. That young man and the sisters, bearing witness. Everybody's kind of on that same page, I think. You know.
Yeah. No. Something great for yeah. It's already coming for. Yeah. It's already. Yeah. We just shake some things up.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. But thank y'all. Yeah. Thank y'all very much. And whew,
Thank you.
I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this.
You're gonna do wonderful.
That's right.
Yeah.
Work.
So all right, y'all.
Raw, unedited.
That's right. Keep it raw.
I don't know. Well, all right, y'all. And peace. And we out.
Wherever you want me to go, I'm willing to obey. Oh Lord, please let me know. Whatever path that I must take, not my volition, Lord, I'll do just what you say, and I shall do. And they say, I shall do. You never heard that one? Just what he
Seems
said.
like no, I just not issue, Vicky.
I'm first time hearing it, but it sounds good coming from you though.